Aloha from Hawaiian Dan of TalkFishTV.com reporting for the Fisherman. This week I am working the backwaters that can be found throughout Long Island. There are spots and nooks and crannies like this everywhere throughout the island, and I guarantee you this time of year they are holding fish. Today I'm fishing from the Sea Eagle inflatable stand-up paddleboard, the Fish Up 126, a 12-foot, 6-inch long, 40-inch wide, extremely stable and versatile fishing platform designed to fish skinny water like I did today. The temperatures last week were in the mid-90s. This week they cooled off about 10 degrees in the mid-80s, and none of that affected the bite negatively. It is still on like Donkey Kong. Plenty of bait fish to be found and plenty of life to go around and plenty of predator fish fishing on those. Now, you know from my previous videos that I always key on Zoom Bubblegum Fluke. That's my #1 go-to lure. Catches every kind of species up here in the Northeast. Now, I'm gonna share with you my second secret. Boom! That's right, the metal fish jig. The cat is out of the bag. That is my second go-to lure, guaranteed to catch just about every species of fish found here in the Northeast. You can see from the videos that there are plenty of porgies, fluke, and even cocktail blues to go around. Now, I didn't catch anything big this week, but I sure had a lot of fun, and it beats being stuck in the office. I did take a trip to the South Shore, hitting the Shinnecock Inlet, as well as Smith Point, out on the ocean side, and I got nothing but school and a bunch of seaweed. But you know, it's not over till it's over. You got to put in your time. You've got to learn that local region. You got to learn when to fish it, how to fish it, and with what to fish it with. So I'm still going to work hard to dial it in for you guys, and hopefully I'll have a cow to show you next week. Do me a favor, get off that couch. Get out there and fish. Send in your reports, your photos, your videos, your tips, your techniques, and your tricks. And until next week, this is Hawaiian Dan from TalkFishTV.com signing out for the Fisherman. Aloha! Woo! Look at these little boogers. Little cocktail blue for you. Fish on. Yeah, baby. Whoa, hey, hey now, hey now. Oh yeah, baby. Woo! These guys. Wow, dude. These guys put on a show, that's for sure. Whoa! Check them out, dude. Fish number two. Fish number two. So we are going to switch to something better. Woo! Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Porgies. All right. Take him. Looks like you just swiped at it. Yeah. That's fighting really weird. Seaweed? The shell? Definitely fighting, it's just fighting weird. Let's see. Oh, fluke. Yeah, baby. Got that pretty fluke on film. Yeah. Barely hooked, so we're gonna keep him going. Nope. We're lost. How pretty that fish is, huh? How beautiful is that? How pretty that fish is, huh? Oh yeah. Porgy? Come on, baby. Yeah, baby. Porgo, Porgo. Yeah, babe. See, they're just swiping at it. That's the thing. Oh, oh, oh. There he goes. There goes your lure. And let me show it to you guys. Porgy. Small one. Still fun. So you know my big thing is always finding current, always finding a bottleneck where the bait is funneled through, and hopefully a drop off with a ledge on each side. So that's exactly where I'm fishing right now. So this is an outgoing tide, and it looks like, if I'm feeling it correctly, we have a, feels like a wind out of the east, but it's not real heavy back there. It's probably around 2 knots, 2 to 4 knots, and what it's doing is it's actually slowing my drift down. So my presentation is pretty much spot on. I don't have to do much controlling as far as position goes. And you'll see, like I just did then, as I'm casting up current onto one of the banks, or actually right before the edge where it drops off, and I'm just working this jig off the bottom. I'm getting it to drop off into deeper sections and just kind of moving with the current like a baitfish normally would. And the important thing is you have to feel bottom, and you don't want it to drop like a box of rocks, but you do want it to make a thug on the bottom. I found from diving, whoops, there we go. That might be some seaweed. Let's see. I found, yeah, it's a shellfish. Woo! But I found when I dive that if you tap the bottom, or you make some kind of commotion, not so much commotion that you spook the fish, but enough where the dirt kind of puffs up. They think there's other fish over there, or they think that it's movement, probably bait or something burrowed in the mud, or a small fish moving around the bottom. And so they immediately react to that, and they go and they check out that commotion. So a little bit of thud is a good thing, getting the dirt to kind of poof. And I'll try to get some footage of that if the water ever clears up for you. I'll see if I can get that footage for you. But this is one of my favorite go-to lures. Second only to the Zoom Bubblegum Fluke. This is it. It is a metal jig. I'm not super particular on the color, just anything that has flash. And anything that'll kind of get me to the bottom and bounce off the bottom. The good thing about these metal jigs or these lead jigs is that your casting distance is increased. Doesn't really matter what the wind's doing, and finding the bottom is always significantly easy, despite what the current's doing. You just have to adjust the size, the weight, and the profile of the jigs, because different jigs fall in different manners. They have butterfly jigs, lead jigs, epoxy jigs, and you'll find in the fall time I'll switch over to the epoxies when the albies hopefully run through this year, and hopefully I'll be able to hook up with them. So as you saw earlier, I was getting picked up on the Zoom Bubblegum Fluke by the cocktail blues, the little snappers. Now, that's a great lure, but keep in mind it's also very soft. So those blues, they pretty much tear everything up. There we go. They pretty much tear everything up. So once you start, oh, drop them off. Sorry about that, guys. Once you get into the cocktail blues, you want to move over to something hard, a metal, because they're going to tear it up, or even a plug. Now, these fish aren't really huge back here. We're fishing the backwaters. It's midday, so it's pretty warm. Last week was in the 90s. Whoa, that one got it on the drop. Today we're in the 80s. And it's doable, man. Now, I haven't found any big fish today. They tend to come out in the cooler waters, the deeper waters, and more towards the night or early morning. But I gotta tell you, I'm having a blast. This time we'll be ready on the drop. Let's see what happens. Didn't happen that time. So I'm just kind of bouncing it up, letting it flutter down and hit the bottom. And they're hitting it on the drop, or just as it hits the bottom. When I go to jig it again, that's where I'm hooking into them. You'll see some of those porgies, they're just swiping at it, and we're foul hooking them. But it's still incredible fun. So, I don't know how I missed that, guys. Oh, there they go. Came back for it. Oh yeah. Oh, cocktail blues. Let's see. I think they might be popping up right here. Let's see if we can get another one real quick. Should have known, because blues, they have that kind of, or at least the cocktail blues, they have that boom, boom, boom kind of stripe. Very similar to porgies. go for a long cast. Now with this particular setup, where I have the treble hook on the back, that treble hook on the back there, want to oh, wait a minute. Fray in the line there, and that could be problematic. Yeah, good catch on that one. All right, I'm gonna pause this tape. I'm gonna retie this and get rid of this frayed line here. It's super important. I don't know if you can see it, but if you ever have any frayed line whatsoever, make sure you change that out. Look, that's what happened with our last fish, or our next fish. All right, so I'm gonna change this line out real quick. Yeah, we're just gonna repeat the same thing. We're gonna cast up current. You kind of see that little rip right there, so you know there's a drop off. We're just gonna bounce it off the bottom. I got something. That's just a lure turned sideways. I think that's the lure turned sideways. Feel like a little vibration going on. Now fight back from the fish. Oh, hey now. We did get something. Another shellfish. Hey. I'll take it. Still fun. Or funny. Right back up current. On the ledge, just opposite of that drop off. I'm just gonna work it right down current. Oh, I did not like. I don't know. I got a shell. It's not really fighting back. I see another shellfish. Oh, whoa, hold on. Different species, guys. We got a combination. Whoa, this is pretty rare now. I will show you this. We got a combination rock weedfish. Combination rock weedfish. I'll take it. All right, guys, make sure that you clear your lures of any debris because they ain't gonna cut it. That was funny. I almost had some more seaweed. Might actually have some more seaweed. All right. Tide's getting lower, so I'm gonna try. Oh, wait a minute. A third species, guys. A third species. A stickfish. A stickfish. Yes. All right. We're gonna do one more cast with this, and because it's low tide here, it's about almost dead low. We're gonna switch over to something that doesn't get hung up so much. And that wind's picking up a little bit. Probably coming through there about 10 knots all of a sudden. You can actually see that rip line. See, I kind of got too close to it, but I was trying to cast over to the other side. I could tell by the seconds that the number of seconds that it took to hit the bottom, and I actually cast it right into it. But I usually try to get over to the other side and then work it right through that rip line. There we go. Right over to the other side. Oh, that wasn't good. There we go, right on the other side of that rip. Yeah, that's definitely a fish. Small one though. What's that? What's that? Small fluke. Check it out. Pretty little thing. Pretty little. See you later, buddy.